store is premium. This is the modern format, and I'm Andrew Waltice, the Ginger Brew. And joining me is the Taxman, NRG MVP, NRG champion, reigning, Stephen Dykeman.
Hello, everybody. So obviously, we just had a pretty big change to both Modern and Pioneer this week. The BNR on Monday got rid of Nadu in Modern as well as Grief, which is obviously a pretty big change.
And a good one, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely a good one. I think they could have potentially done a little more. Cards like the One Ring are definitely, I think they even said the One Ring is on their radar, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the One Ring is going to still be very dominant in Modern, but yeah, I think what they did definitely makes sense. We played the team event this past weekend, and our teammate played the Nadu Mirror literally the entire tournament. He never played anything else until top 8, where he lost to Jeskai Control. But yeah, that's a really toxic format. You don't want to play that kind of format. Nadu was very clearly the best deck. It was very clearly the best deck starting at the PT. Even before the PT, people knew it was probably the best deck. So it's really good to just get that out of here. Now we're going to get to see a little bit probably more diverse of a format. We've got not a ton of different decks in the room today. It looked like, we've got a lot of energy, which is kind of what a lot of people think the best deck is, kind of going into the non-Nadu world.
And then the other most popular deck in the room is arguably the second best deck in Modern at this point, which is Eldrazi.
Okay, yep, we got that. And then we've got the blue-black frog deck.
Quite a few of those.
And we're going to actually have one of those in round 1 here. Why don't
a
you
different
tell us?
spin.
Yep.
A different spin. So we're going to have George Hannibon on camera whenever we get to it, whenever they get set up. And he's actually borrowing one of my piles that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
It is a cookbook deck, so it runs Asmarin, Dakar, something. But it also plays Psychic Frog.
Mm-hmm.
Because Psychic Frog can discard the excess Daredevils to get bigger. So obviously this is more of a combo-oriented deck than a mid-range deck. Ooh, we got Keegan. Looks like Keegan playing blue-green Merfolk.
I can't believe he's playing Merfolk. I thought when we saw Keegan, I was going to get to see some Ruby Storm action, because the last time I saw Keegan, he was playing Storm.
He's not playing Merfolk.
Oh no, excuse me. The Director Cousin got it updated. He's playing. Keegan is playing Eldrazi. It looks like Breach, I'm guessing.
Breach Drazi. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, this is Breach.
I would have been very surprised to see Merfolk. Anyway,
and on the backup match, we'll have Mitch Sachs playing Ruby Storm versus Steven Turner playing an Omnath File.
Uh-oh. That is not what I'm at.
Yeah, this is not
that
at all.
match might be over very fast.
Yes. But to be fair, he is playing copies of Subtlety, Solitude, and obviously Binding. So he can pick up the Rouse and the medallions. But for now, we're going to be watching this match, which I am very excited for. I think these Asmo decks are definitely people are slept on. They're not explored enough. And this is also worthy of mention, a Kappa Cannoneer deck.
Oh.
So the deck wants to overwhelm you with value and then just dome you with a Kappa Cannoneer.
That's pretty awesome.
And it looks like we got a cookbook and some lands, and George is immediately going down because there was nothing to cook with in that hand. But Keegan's hand looks quite good. I think I see a couple lands, a Devourer of Destiny, and I thought a Talisman. So we're looking at it realistically, potentially a turn 2 Breach, but I don't see I don't see a Labyrinth.
Okay, I was about to ask, does he have that cheating land? I didn't even know the name of it.
Yeah.
Labyrinth, right?
Fast mana. Not allowed in Modern, but somehow it is. George looks like he has
spells.
Hand looks keepable, actually, believe it or not. Cookbook. I think I don't see a Street Wraith. Maybe there's a Street Wraith. Yeah, there is a Street Wraith. So this is a turn 1 Asmo.
Bauble, too.
Yeah. For quite a good hand.
With Emery.
Okay. Showing the Devourer Destiny. George being on the draw is pretty unfortunate. Let's see what Keegan keeps on top. I saw an Ulamog, what was that? An Emrakul, and a Breach. I didn't see what the 4th card was. but it looks like Keegan is trying to find land.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Ancient Stories is a good pickup. I would be.
They'll find you a land if you
Yeah.
have Ring Source.
So it looks like we put a Breach on top. Okay. And excuse me, Keegan's on the draw.
Okay.
Cycling Street Wraith, go to 18.
Yep.
This is going to be a shock from a Water Grave, probably. Go to 16, cast Asmaranda Asmo.
Yeah, and then go get it.
Yep, go get the cookbook.
All right, that's a pretty sweet start.
That is what the Asmo deck wants to do. Unfortunately, this Eldrazi deck doesn't really care too much about that. However, something that's really nice that this Asmo deck can do is George, if he plays multiple cookbooks, can get multiple foods a turn, so he can actually sack all the foods to the Annihilator.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see what Keegan's going to be doing. I think it's just a land pass sort of situation. Yep. But that, if you notice, there was a Kulligan, or not a Kulligan's command, a Kozilek's command that can really eat up an Asmo. Ooh, perfect draw right there. Dark Slick Shores. That's going to be your second land drop.
Nice.
Probably going to be I do not see a Daredevil, but this is probably going to be a turn 2 Emery.
Yep.
And essentially in this side, Emery is a draw 4.
Yep. Pretty sick.
So we're going to see if we can mill a Daredevil here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Daredevil, but we do have another cookbook.
Okay.
And I do see a Kappa Cannoneer in hand. So we're going to get him for 3.
Does the deck play 4 Daredevil?
It does play 4 Daredevil.
Okay.
I'm a little shocked that George didn't crack this bauble here to try and find the Daredevil.
He's probably trying to set up. Okay, nope. I was saying maybe he was trying to set up a.
Devour Destiny's on top that George knows of. That's good information to have. Ooh, found third land, and I think that was that's a Metallic Rebuke.
Okay, I was about
big hit.
I was about to ask if this deck played counter magic.
Big hit. So this Emery is most likely going to be buying back the bauble. At this point, George has everything locked up. We just need to find a single copy of Daredevil. And if we find multiple copies of Daredevil, we can really start pressing the advantage.
Yeah, this is sweet. This is really cool. Does the deck play counter magic on the board as well?
It does. It does. Not really what the kind of magic you want in this match, but it does have. Some. It has a couple force negations, a couple damping spheres, but you probably don't want that in this matchup. But 3 Thoughtseize, which is going to be huge in the matchup.
Nice,
Strip them other resources.
Yeah.
And Keegan is in a little bit of trouble here. This Asmo is really pressuring his life total, and he does not have a third land.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be definitely hitting the Asmo.
I wonder if George counters this.
I like that. I like that. And what George is going to do with this fetch is go and get the 1 of copy of. George, I like that play from George. Discarding the Kappa Cannoneer because it's basically free because you can just bring it back with the Emery.
Yep.
And then this land here is going to go find the 1 of Undercity Sewer. And
see if we can bin a.
See if we can bin a Daredevil.
I guess we should have done that before doing the cookbook activation.
I think so, but minor misstep. I really think both players, while Keegan's a little bit behind on his game plan right now, he's still in a very good position. George is in a lot of trouble if Keegan finds a single land.
I see. Oh, because there's a ring over there.
Ooh, he must have binned the Undercity Sewers off the Emery. That's unfortunate.
That makes sense.
And Keegan's hand, I think, is a Devourer of Destiny, a Ring, a Breach. And I'm not sure what the fourth card is, but let's see what George can draw off this. See if maybe we can start closing the door a little bit. That is another copy of Asmo, which actually isn't that bad. I think that's another possibly another Rebuke in hand as well.
Really? Another Rebuke would be nuts.
So George could just buy back another cookbook from the yard. I kind of like just doing a double bobble thing.
Mm-hmm. I think George wants to get the Kappa into play.
Can he? Yeah, he can get the Kappa into play this
He
turn.
can. I think he's going to. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about if he wants to tap out.
I think George is kind of priced into it at this point. You know your opponent stumbled on land. You have to. Your deck doesn't have a really quick clock, so I think you're incentivized to just push.
Okay. It depends if he has a Rebuke or not. If he has a Rebuke, I would not tap out for it. I would just do the bobble thing. But if he doesn't have Rebuke, I like the Kappa.
Go for the cookbook. I like this too. This too. So if he does have the Rebuke, like I think he does, this is just setting up for future turns.
This is safe, yeah.
I'm a little bit confused why we aren't just trying to crack in this bauble to try and draw on our opponent's turn. Oh, that's another Rebuke. Yep, perfect. Card the Asmo, get another food. So Keegan is technically on a 3-turn clock. If we were to start tagging with the Emery, but let's see. Keegan's keeping a little hidden from the folks at home.
That's all right.
Okay, it's okay. Draw 2
we
cards.
We don't need to know what it is.
Draw 2, and what did we hit? We hit
something.
I think that's a Soul Cauldron.
Oh. Okay. Yep.
Yep, that's a Soul Cauldron. Okay, so now we can give the Emery the ability of Asmo, or we can give. Yeah, it looks like Asmo is the only real target in the yard. But diversifying your threat base seems pretty appealing. The other option, which I think is a little bit better, is we just go for the Kappa this turn.
Yeah.
Let's get the big boy down. Let's hit Keegan down to 8. And then the Kappa really threatens lethal next turn.
This just in from the field. Got fully 10 of our 26 players on the range variant, plus a control, plus a combo variant.
Nice.
The Shrieking Drake Primal Prayers deck.
Ooh, okay. I don't even know what those cards do.
Not Primal Prayers. What's the Allurin in the set?
Primal, not Primal Prayer. That's Oh, we got a concession, an actual concession from the Kappa Cannoneer hitting the field.
He must not have drawn another land. Or
he did not. He missed it for 2 turns. His option was to play. Hope he draws a land, play the ring. Then cookbook, or not cookbook, excuse me, then breach in a Titan. But really, I don't think there is an out.
Okay.
Because we can just sack all the foods. So now we go to sideboard games. So what do we got from here? I'll give you the non-food pile.
Okay.
So here you go.
Thank you.
So as far as what we're going to probably see from George, definitely the Force Negation seem like they are prime position for this matchup. The one of Pithing Needle seems exceptionally good for the ring. In the 3 Thought Seizes, that kind of that's kind of it. I don't like. You could trim on. I think you're just going to see trimmings all around.
Yeah.
You're not going to see anything really cut. Could probably cut the Shadow Spear. You can probably cut the Blood Fountains because there's 2 of those. But I think you're really hard pressed to keeping a lot of your packages flush. So what do you got over there for Keegan?
All right, so we've got 2 EEs will be coming in, 2 Engineered Explosives. He has 1 All Is Dust that won't come in here, I imagine. Bajuka Bog you can maybe bring in. 4 Trinisphere, those might actually be okay too. 4 World Breaker, 2 Veil of Summer, and a Nature's Claim. A lot of these cards could come in.
A lot of them.
I'm not gonna lie to you. A fair amount of these cards in this Eldrazi deck, I do not actually know what they. I do not actually know what they do. Can you tell me what Sowing Mycospawn does?
Sowing Mycospawn is 3 and a green.
Okay.
As a cast trigger to put any land from your deck into play, and then it has Kicker for 1 and a colorless that says you can exile target land. So it's a Stone Rain plus a Ramping Growth.
Well, that card seems pretty good.
It's pretty broken.
Yeah.
Pretty broken.
Okay. All right. What does I kind of know what Kozilek Command does?
Kozilek's Command is the new modal instant card.
Yeah.
One of the modes is create X spawns.
Okay.
One of them is to scry X, draw 1.
Okay.
The other is to exile target creature whose mana value is X or less.
Okay.
And then the last one.
Exile a yard, maybe? I think it has something.
I think, yeah, I think it's exile target X cards from yard. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds correct.
Cool. Yeah, so the All Is Dust I know are bad. Those will come out. So those two.
I think, but you have to remember, All Is Dust is one of those cards that traps a lot of players. They think that it's really good.
Oh.
I agree with you that I think it's pretty bad. I think it can come out. I think Explosives is much better.
Yeah.
I think Bog is quite good.
Yeah.
And I think the Nature's Claim is exceptional.
Yeah.
I really think everything else needs to just stay in the board.
Yeah,
Trinisphere is fine.
Yeah.
But it's not. George can play one of those games where he doesn't need to really go super deep. And we did see George has a hand with a frog in it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
A lot of lands from what I can see, though. It looks like Keegan's hand is quite good.
Okay.
I saw, but
yeah, he had a breach, he had a ring, he had a forest.
Got everything the deck wants.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to just accelerate our mana in some way. I think I did see an Ugin's Labyrinth as well.
Oh, that'll be a big one.
Yep. So George going to 6. This deck, one thing that's really nice about this Asmo deck, mulligans very well.
Okay.
It's A plus B kind of deck.
Yeah.
You don't really need much. You want to get an Asmo going, and you want a what do you call it? Daredevil.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I see a Thoughtseize.
There's Thoughtseize and a Daredevil.
I've seen Emery and some lands.
Yep.
Ooh, there's Daredevil. Okay.
Yep.
We're cooking. There's a Cauldron.
Looks pretty reasonable.
What do we bin the? I think
Kappa? We're pretty far off Kappa.
That's not. There's no Kappa in
Is
here.
that not a Kappa?
I don't believe so. I think it might be the Street Wraith.
Oh, okay.
I think the Street Wraith kind of poor right now. Or you can bin the Soul Cauldron. Oh, that's a Blood Fountain.
I see.
Blood Fountain is interesting. I think.
Is he gonna get rid of the Cauldron?
Looks like we're getting rid of a land.
I think it might have been Cauldron. I'm not sure though.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
No pregame. No pregame. We're playing Fair Magic. No acceleration. There's a lot of lands. There's an Emrakul. What are you thinking, Keegan? I'm thinking land. I don't know about you, Steven.
Yeah.
I think that Grove of the Burn Willows is kind of a perfect pickup.
Yeah.
And Keegan agrees. Keegan agrees.
Seems fine. Okay.
Yep. And we go back to go George's way.
Part of me just wants George to win for sure so we can watch some Storm. That's the deck.
Ooh, that was an excellent draw.
Land.
He did bin one land, so he was going off the one lander.
Oh wow, okay.
Risky. This is most likely, if I'm in Georgia's seat, I'm shocking in the Watery Grave. I'm playing the Blood Fountain.
Sure. No Thoughtseize for.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Interesting. I think you want to take. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
What do you think of taking Talisman?
I'm thinking that. I'm thinking that. That's your acceleration, and doesn't really the Michael Spawn is turn 4, but on turn 4 you're going to want to play the ring.
Yeah.
And you have outs to the ring.
I think I would take the Talisman, but I'm not sure. Close. You'd also take the ring. There's not a whole
I don't.
lot.
Yeah, the breach is off the table. The Michael Spawn is interesting. I think you take the Talisman because that, to me, is the only hole you can poke in the hand.
Yeah.
Because I really think the ring and the Michael Spawn are interchangeable.
Yeah. You don't care that much about the claim because next turn we just go Blood Fountain Emery, right? So it's
kind
of bad. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what George goes with. Okay, he takes the ring.
I don't hate it.
I respect it.
I don't hate it. I think George's plan is to kind of strand him on the breach.
Yep.
But the tricky part of this plan is that you're kind of at the mercy of the top of Keegan's deck.
Right. Scary.
By getting rid of the Talisman, you buy yourself quite a bit of time.
I think he just drew a second breach, though.
He did.
That's fortunate, George.
Ooh, big pickup.
That's
big pickup. I don't believe George has another blue card in hand, though.
Not if he plays
the Emery.
But, I mean, he probably will play the Emery, I assume.
the blood fountain's definitely coming down.
Yeah.
The question is, does George use the blood to discard the Daredevil right
that's
now?
actually interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of just getting the blood fountain down and then playing the Emery.
Okay.
And then let's really try and press some advantage.
I actually like the blood idea now that you mentioned that. I would play scared and leave the force available to play around a ring.
Yeah.
But I guess your opponent has that spawn.
Ooh, a second Daredevil. Ooh, that's so good.
And there was a bobble in there too.
Yeah, so good. Okay. So George actually, if his opponent doesn't do anything this turn, is set up. Ooh, third breach. Oh, so Keegan's deck is really punishing him right now.
That is so bad. Holy moly. Okay, well, here comes this thing.
This is okay. So Keegan can set himself up quite nicely. Go get a bog.
Yeah.
If he sighted it in.
Oh, that's why they play the 1-up bog. Okay. That's sweet.
But George holding the Daredevil in hand makes it so he's bog proof. But not necessarily, I guess, because the bog shuts the bauble.
Yeah, the bauble getting eaten here is huge, assuming he boarded it in. But
it doesn't look like he boarded it in.
That's a yikes.
So it looks like we're going to go for a temple, perhaps.
Probably.
Or we need another. Yeah, I think we just go for temple.
I see.
And just hope it's okay.
Oh, it enters untapped too.
Yeah, it's a great card, dude.
Earth?
Busted card. You see why Eldrazi you're seeing that's on a play,
dude.
This is also seeing Legacy play too.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Finding any land.
Yeah.
Eldrazi does post play?
Oh yeah. That's one of the cards that and K Command are the reason that Eldrazi's so big right now in Legacy.
I see. Okay. Huh.
Okay, draw. That's an Otawara. That's huge. So we have a protection against some of these what do you call it? These Titans, because you can bounce them.
Yeah. It looks like did he play the Otawara?
This is interesting. I think if I was George, I would have cracked the blood first, discarding the Daredevil from hand. But I think what George's idea is, which I don't hate, is hold up the 3 mana for the force and just play the Surveillant from hand.
I see.
But we also he played the Otawara as land for turn.
Yeah, he did.
It's interesting.
Okay. George is going to take a peek. This is nice because he'll know if there's a bomb to get cheated in.
Okay, so,
it's a ring. Wow, he's going to get pretty rewarded for holding up the force.
I think George drew a Thoughtseize as well.
Oh, he's going to know about the trip through the breach.
Well, and that'll George will know that he just needs to find protection and hold it up the rest of the game.
Yeah. Should be exiled. There we go. Yep. All right. I'd be very surprised if Key can find his way out of this, but we'll see.
Just to tighten off the top puts him in great shape.
Yeah, because I guess
George is dead. George is just dead.
Breach
if there's a Titan.
Breach my turn. Yeah, good point.
Oh, that's a frog. That does make it so George can survive a Titan. And actually, this is going to be so sweet. So we can play the frog, discard the 2 Daredevils, and then bring Bauble back
and put them both back in hand. So our frog is already a 5/6. Just 2 mana 5/6, no big deal.
Surveil. See if we can find another Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's a Thoughtseize, I believe.
Yeah.
Quite confident on that. But
yeah.
I think George is going to say he keeps it. George is thinking on it.
It's a tough one.
If I'm in George's seat, I think my opponent's hand sucks. I'm of the opinion you just...
Well, there's no bomb because your opponent would have gone your end step through the breach and tried it through the breach.
Yeah, exactly. So George sees... This is I talked to him about this line right before the event.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Bob will bring back the 2 Daredevils.
As if Frog needed to be any better.
And the nice thing about this deck is that all your cards in the yard are kind of useless.
Yeah.
So be able to jump the Frog at any time.
Yeah, play Leapfrog.
And what do we draw? Kozilek's Command. Big game. That stops Frog.
Does it really? Oh, yeah, you can eat the Frog.
Yep,
yeah.
That stops the Frog. We can stop the Frog nonsense right now.
All right, that's pretty big.
Ooh. George is, I think, going to crack the blood. I would crack the blood right now. No? Okay.
Okay. I don't understand why
2 cards deep.
Keegan's letting him draw all these cards. We have
I think another Fountain.
K command. Huh. It's interesting. Okay. I wonder what Keegan's thinking right now.
I think he just doesn't know what he needs to hit because the Emery is also super threatening as well.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have to make a choice now.
Yeah, make a choice now. I think he's going to be doing the Scry X draw card. This is going to be a.
You just
he's
have
doing
to.
it for 3. I'm a little confused why we're doing it for 3, not 4.
You just have to hit the
for
frog,
2.
right?
Okay. We're going to go for frog.
You have to hit the frog. Yeah, it's just too good. I'll die to it so fast. I'm not careful.
Yep, hit the frog and Scry 2 draw a card.
Yeah.
I'm still a little confused why we're not just like fully committing to this K command so we could Scry 4 draw a card.
Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder if he's thinking about
playing on Pierce, perhaps.
Oh, that is what it is. Yep. This is.
Oh, that's an Ulamog the Defiler, I think. Oh no, I guess it's not.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you? Because if it was, you'd keep it.
I think you would. Yeah.
Oh, because your opponent just takes it.
That's such a brutal.
Yeah,
dude. Such a brutal Thoughtseize. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well.
I think George needs to crack this blood now.
Yeah.
Discarding this, he's gonna thin his deck a little bit first.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Keegan. I mean, it looks bad, but if he just draws a good card, he just wins potentially.
Yeah. George's deck is not functioning at 100% optimal. 100% optimally right now.
Yeah.
He hasn't found. He discarded a cauldron, I believe. No, he didn't. He bottomed the cauldron.
Yeah.
So he hasn't found any payoffs yet.
Yep.
And we just need to find a Kappa. We need to find an Asmo.
Yep.
Another frog would be very good.
The frog, yep. And Keegan just needs to find an Emrakul.
Yeah.
Classic.
Really.
Classic through the breach gaming here. All right.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. I like this.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Just cast the Daredevil.
Just try to get a clock, and also don't let that 3/3 keep beating you down, because George is at like 8 now, I think, because he fetched. So, I mean, that 3/3 is kind of a real problem. Is that another Beseiju? Keegan's draws have been so bad.
Yeah.
I'll talk about a way to make me not want to play this deck. It has been the way Keegan has
very explosive. When it works, it's really good.
Yeah, I believe
But when it stumbles, it's.
I've heard it's actually done really well locally. The guy that we're going to have join us later on commentary, his name's Kevin Adringa. He, I think, won 2 events with Breach, because I believe he's qualified for both Portland and North Carolina now. And I think
he just won one.
Oh, was it only
one? Was limited.
One was limited. I see. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, he did it with Breach in Nadu format, so. I know
Dodge Nadu all day.
Okay, well, I know the deck is powerful.
It's very good. It's a very good deck. When it works, it's insane.
Is this a Spike deck?
Which one?
The Breach deck?
Breach? I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't know why George is rebuying this bauble and how he's doing that right now.
It's interesting.
I like how George is doing this with the pack. See if his opponent blocks. Maybe forgot about the other Daredevil. But George did draw a Metallic Rebuke.
I honestly think he's just going to hardcast another Daredevil.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I think so too. I think that's actually a very, very reasonable line.
Yeah, we got to get pressure going, and we've got to have the blocker for the 3/3.
That's a K command.
Well, it's not good. Yeah. Okay.
But like, what do you hit? You hit the Emery?
Kaz command.
It's the cozy command.
Cozy command. That's good too. Yeah, anyway, to go back to earlier where Keegan left up 2 mana, it's important to note that at least in not top 8, this is not an open deck list tournament. So playing around Spell Pierce does make sense because you have no idea that George does or does not have that card in his deck.
And you got by the Metallic Rebuke too earlier.
Right.
So I think it's good to be a little bit extra cautious. And we drew another copy of Daredevil.
Okay.
So we're just going to...
mana 4/2 is good enough for Modern, apparently.
Well, really, this is a 2-turn clock.
I'm aware it is. I am aware.
Yeah, you got to block.
Yeah, and then it's so bad. It's so bad. He knows how bad it is. This is so brutal, dude.
And are we going to K command the other Daredevil?
I don't know. Yeah, he's going to try.
See how cozy this is. That's 3. That's 4. X equals 4. What are our modes? Go after a Daredevil.
Maybe George just let it go, right? I would just let
this well, it is a scry. It's a scry 4.
True. Yeah, I guess countering breach isn't that great because then they just do it twice.
Yeah. I kind of like George's plan where he just push.
Did he let it go? He did let it go, right?
He countered the cake or the cozy
Oh,
command.
did he? Okay.
Yep, countered cozy command, and then the Daredevil traded.
Oh, the trade. Duh. Got the trade.
I think George is going to slam the other. The question is, does he want to reveal to his opponent he just doesn't have an out for a counter right now? I kind of like it. I just kind of like putting the third Daredevil in play.
Yeah, he's going to be patient.
Emery, I like this.
I see.
I like this. Go 4 deep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the cookbook. There's the cookbook and a frog. We can rebuy frogs.
Cool.
I kind of like playing another Emery, if I'm being honest. Let's dig.
Gonna play another blood fountain.
Blood fountain. Yep. And then we got trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Keegan just needs to rip any Titan, and he wins. George, he needs to find some counter magic, something.
Yeah.
Grinds up for himself. I think he's debating if he wants to use the blood or not. Because I believe George knows what his opponent's drawing. I think that was a 4th breach.
That's unreal.
Yep, George did miss a bobble trigger. A cozy command. Okay.
Gonna float out there when they remember that.
Is that a Titan finally? In that, I can't see what that 4th card is. I see it's Labyrinth, Strings, a land, and then I can't tell what that. What is that thing? Oh, it's a Devourer, I think.
I like the Devourer.
Yeah, it's a creature. It gives us something to do.
Issue is the Devourer's a cast trigger.
I know. We can cast it though.
We can't. Yeah, it's 7 mana.
He has a second Besiju. He can.
Oh.
Yeah, he can float off the first Besiju, play another one, and then cast. It's pretty bad, but it's good enough, I think. Here, kind of.
It's another Emery.
Yeah.
Just play the frog.
Yeah, interesting game.
But the interesting thing is, if we play this frog, the
Devourer is gonna.
The Devourer has to get rid of the frog.
Eat it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George is doing a nice play.
Ooh. Yeah, that was big.
The final Thoughtseize. Yep. George is saying, "What's up?"
The problem for George is still, if Keegan just hits the Emrakul, he still just lose. This is wild.
I think the frog actually might
the
be.
frog might keep him alive.
The frog can jump and block, but actually the frog might be. This might be lethal quite quickly.
Yeah.
Because we got these 3 Daredevils that are triggering.
Keegan just needs to top deck Emrakul and force the.
Or 2, excuse me, 1 got exiled.
Yep. Really?
And what are we getting up the top? George, what do we see?
George needs a rebuke. If it's a good one. I have no idea if that was a good one. It looked green. Probably not Eldrazi.
That is a Myco spawn.
It is crazy to me how bad Keegan has drawn in this game. This is insane.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
Could have drawn much worse.
But we're gonna kick the Myco spawn now.
Oh, that's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah.
We get to exile land, so we get to
eat a watery grave.
Yeah, eat a duel. Doesn't really matter.
No. I mean, like you said, George.
That's exiled. Hopefully we can get that corrected.
George needs a. George almost has lethal with just the frog, though.
Yeah, the frog's gonna be a 3/4.
3/4, 5/6.
And we could
power at least.
If we do, so here's an interesting play. If we find a land, we can crack the fountain.
Yeah.
To add back the daredevils in the yard, discard the daredevils, replay the fountain, trigger the daredevils, trigger the fountain, get the daredevils back, discard them, fountain triggers, gets into their blood.
Oh, yeah.
Get the daredevils back.
That's disgusting. That's
pushing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think that would just be lethal. I'm fairly certain.
What does George pick up?
It's a
land.
Oh, but he has the delta, so we'll see if he sees that line you're referring to. That's pretty nutty.
I think if I were George, I don't think you push that hard.
Well, could it be lethal?
I don't believe so.
Is what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't believe so. So it's a discard 2, put to 4 counters, buy back, put to 6 counters, put to 8 counters. It's 10 damage.
But then, don't you just discard the other cards in your hand?
Oh, yes, that's
just
true.
lethal.
Yeah,
right?
it's lethal.
Yeah. If he sees that line, it's lethal. That is a crazy line, dude. That is really cool. Frog is so broken, man. What?
Yeah, so if George sees us, it's lethal. Okay, he does not.
That's a tough one to see. To be fair, if you haven't played this deck a lot,
that's a Soul Cauldron. That's a Kappa.
Probably not going to see that. I don't really blame him for missing it because until you talked about it, I did not see it. What a wild line.
Yeah, Frog busted.
Yeah.
George is kind of in an interesting spot though. Like he can't really attack with the Frog.
Yeah, he just like wait a turn, right? I mean, there's just no reason.
Looks like he's just gonna play the Cauldron.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
He can hit Emery and put a counter on the Emery, which that's not horrible. Okay, George's okay. Interesting. Don't really know about that block, but I mean we're still at the point where just a Titan off the top is lethal.
Yeah, he just has to rip an Emrakul. It's been the entire game. And I draw an Emrakul. Can he finally do it?
And if interesting,
honestly, it doesn't even need to be an Emrakul. You just draw a ring too.
An interesting line is we can use the Cauldron to eat the other frog in the yard.
Yep.
And give everything frogs.
I did see that one. I am aware we can do that, but
okay, one time. That isn't I believe that was an Ancient Stirrings.
Okay. That could do it.
And I guess Keegan's worry is if his opponent has a counter spell, but like
yeah, you can't play around it.
I don't think you can play around it. Yeah,
you just lose to it. So you just gotta play your cards. You don't really have an option at this point. You're dead on board to this frog.
All right, Kyle, it's always prime time when you're here.
Are we sure it was an Ancient Stirrings? Are we certain? You just didn't cast.
I could be wrong. But I believe that was the Ancient Stirrings art that I remember. Okay, so everything's a frog now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, George definitely has lethal now if he sees it. So I'm trying to
explain what the interactions with the Cauldron.
Yeah.
And Keegan's just thinking to himself, "Is this the time to besage you?" And the answer, no. It's this Cauldron means nothing right now. There also will be a delayed trigger put on the stack. So this Cauldron will be destroyed. The frog will go to exile, which will then put a counter on something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, George just has lethal now. Yeah. So I don't think he'll miss this one.
The other one was very convoluted.
The other one was really hard to see. Like you said, I don't blame at all for missing it. If you wouldn't have brought up the line, because the responding to Blood Fountain's trigger by discarding and then getting the blood.
I was talking to him about that line right before the tournament started. I was like, you got to remember there's 2 triggers.
It's still just, it's tricky. It's tricky. A lot of math, but I do think it was exactly 12.
Okay, so now we are going back to George's turn. Going to 5. We're just fetching. Failed to find, yeah. All right. So let's see if George sees the line.
Hard to believe he wouldn't.
Well, again, this all revolves around the fact that you remember Blood Fountain itself.
Yeah. I'm curious if now he even needs the Blood Fountain.
You're at 5/7 damage.
Yeah. We have 3 cards in hand.
That's a bauble. So the bauble will trigger the Daredevil.
Yeah, now it's easy, right?
Yeah,
now you just buy back the doubles.
No, there's no convoluted lines here. You just start discarding those things with the frog.
Yeah.
Now let's see if George does the whole Blood Fountain thing.
Well, it doesn't even need to be tricky Blood Fountain line. This time, all he needs is one more card, right? It's 6, 7, 8, 9. He has 2 cards in hand. So if he Blood Fountains a card back to his hand, he just discards them all, and that's 12. So
a lot of people forget about Blood Fountain's ability, though.
Yeah.
To the Gravedigger ability.
Sure.
So George, I don't think he sees it.
Maybe not. Yeah, he's in the tank, or maybe he's just worried that Keegan has any like. But if Keegan had anything, you feel like he probably would have breached. I don't know. We'll see. See what George goes for. You're right. He might not see it though.
Because the interesting thing is, you don't even go after the Daredevil. You could go for the Daredevils in the yard. You just go for any 2 cards.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. George in the tank. I think George's sitting there thinking, I have to have lethal somewhere. This has to be gamed somehow. He sees it. Okay. Crack the fountain. What are we buying back, George? I think that might be another Kozilek's command in hand.
That would be brutal.
That would be brutal. We could start diversifying on the... No, we can't diversify because the Cauldron's gone. Activate.
He's going to get so blown out here.
2 triggers.
Oh, that is a command. Cozy command, as we call it.
Yeah, the coziest of commands.
On the Swish stream here.
Oh, here we go. Get another Daredevil trigger.
Oh, it
okay, yep.
What was it? I'm so curious.
I'm not sure. It looked like an Ancient Strings to me, but Veil of Summer.
Okay.
Interesting card. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Interesting game. Looks like Mitch already won the backup. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Especially that was a really long and interesting game. There was a lot of twists and turns. I hope y'all enjoyed that at home. You don't typically see games with like Asmo and Emery. Emery's always made very interesting, intricate lines and stuff.
Yeah. The deck looked fun.
Keegan's deck did not cooperate that second game at all.
Very, very, very bad. Really, both games terribly. He drew horribly. He didn't hit a 4th mana in game 1, and then game 2 he just drew through the breach in his deck and didn't draw any fatty.
Well, that's the problem with the deck. It's got a lot of its fail rate's quite high.
Sure.
Especially post-board because it looks like he sided in. Obviously, we saw the Veil of Summers. Yeah. I'm assuming there was also a Nature's Claim that was sided in. I'm assuming that the explosives were sided in. So you're siding in a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
But would you be surprised that Psychic Frog won the match?
I would not. That card's
busted.
Is really good in Legacy, so I can only imagine how
busted.
Good it is in Modern.
But yeah, so we are going to go scout the room for some other cool decks. I did see there is a blue-red wizard pile. It's also another one of my decks.
And we've got a good story about that deck, but we'll save
that.
We'll save that for another round.
But we're going to go see if they won. If they did win, we'll put them in feature match. Maybe if they lost, we might put them on feature matches. Those blue-red decks always promote interesting games. And we're about interesting games here. It looks like we have 8 minutes left in the round. So really, we're probably going to be looking at probably 15 minutes before we're back. Perfect amount of time to go take a potty break, go get a beverage, get a snack, get ready for some more interesting Modern gameplay. And I'm excited.
Me too, man.
I'm excited. Whenever you get some of these odd decks facing the meta decks, you get some really interesting gameplay.
You do.
And energy is, it's energy, and breach is breach. But I think we're probably going to get some traditional blue-black frog soon, because that deck's also a lot of people like that deck. We actually have quite a few people in West Michigan that are quite good with that deck. So we'll see, and we'll probably get Mitch Sachs on, obviously.
I want to watch
Storm do its thing. Yeah, you're a lover of Storm. I'm a absolute hater of it.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
but we got to watch one match I wanted to see. We'll get to watch a match you get to see. So,
Great.
but we will catch you guys here in a little bit.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
right, everyone, we are back. This is going to be round 2 of the Galactic Toys and Games Kentwood location RCQ. I am Andrew Waltice, the Ginger Brute, joined by NRG Champ, the Taxman, reigning NRG MVP, Steven Dykeman, full of titles over here. But last round we had a really sweet one with one of my decks. This round we're also going to have a sweet one with another one of my decks. Is it Wizards? Don't know who they're going to be playing, but I also got word that we're going to have a Primal Prayers deck.
I don't know what that card does.
That's Allurin, baby. Modern Allurin.
I don't know what that card does.
Well, you're in for a good time. Ooh, this is going to be a great match. Braxton Bliss, local player. Braxton Storm Bliss. Local grinder. I would not be shocked if he's on Breach.
Yeah.
And Trevor Dalton playing Blue Red Wizards.
So I actually know what Braxton on. He's on Energy. Boros Energy with 2 rings.
Ooh, but this is the one matchup that Braxton did not want to sit across in the room.
True.
He believes that this Wizards deck has a very good matchup versus the Energy deck.
Yep. Funny story.
Oh yeah. I'll tell. So I originally brought this Wizards deck for friend Dan Stopp, the Unstoppable is what we call him. To play because he requested over the week, and I said, yeah, not a problem. So we brought it. He said, no, he didn't want to play. He wanted to play a different deck. He wanted to play Energy.
Okay.
So